That brings us over to the X Division, where the main feud is the first TNA match, first and second TNA match, as it turns out, despite the fact that they try to retcon the first one out of existence immediately. The first TNA match is between the phenomenal AJ Styles and the fallen angel Christopher Daniels.
TV match, I like more.
You are a sicko. You are a sicko who cannot be trusted, who should be taken to jail.
I don't even know if I believe that. I just wanted to say it to get your reaction.
January 21st, Impact had a Christopher Daniels versus Buck Quatermain match. I still steadfastly refuse to believe that Buck Quatermain and Lex Lovett are different people.
Buck Quatermain does have a better name, though.
That's true. Lex Lovett is alliterative.
Makes you think.
What if it was Quack Quatermain?
Or Luck.
Laudermain? Daniels won with the last rights in less than a minute. Absolutely trashed them. He breaks out the classic Kid Cash line that he's sick and tired of the favoritism offered to Styles, where Tenay did note on commentary that he's just jealous.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Daniels is like a sneaky good guest commentator.
And yet they put him on commentary for basically every match this month, so they do know it.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, right? Like they put him on for stuff that isn't about him.
Yeah, but I actually kind of like that there are some shows this month where he does commentary for the first match and then does commentary for the second match, and it's the second match where he has an angle. And I almost like that they kind of do it that way, that it's not like the tell that this is where you're going to get the Christopher Daniels angle.
Yeah.
But yeah, he says Styles can't beat him. Styles comes out and says any place, anytime. Daniels says, what about now? Offers AJ 10 minutes to shut his mouth. If he does, he'll walk away. But if he can't, he gets the title shot against all odds. Dusty, flanked by Tracy and Trinity, comes out and basically makes the match that Daniels offers for the main event. It is a 10-minute challenge between Christopher Daniels and AJ Styles under those very rules. If Daniels survives the 10 minutes, he gets the title shot. If Styles beats him in under 10 minutes, he doesn't. Daniels wins by surviving the 10 minutes. I guess it's is that a draw or just Daniels win?
It's a draw, but he won. Is the match specifically the 10-minute challenge, or was it just a regular match with the time limit?
That's the question. So if it's the rules where that Daniels gets a victorious outcome via lasting 10 minutes, I think it's a draw. I think that technically means Daniels wins. We're at an impasse.
I think it's a draw, but per the stipulation, he still gets the match.
Either way, Daniels desperately avoided Styles and escaped alone for a last-minute pin attempts to survive the time limit. Then Dusty comes out and is like, you'll get your title shot, but it'll be a 30-minute Iron Man match at against all odds.
Yeah. God. And, Tony Khan, he's been keeping up with us.
Yeah.
He's been watching along. He's always in the DMs saying, oh, I love the show. I love you guys. I'm a best friend, obviously. And, he's been catching up. He watched this and he's like, oh, Iron Man match between MJF and Danielson. So, once again, the influence unparalleled in this business.
Yeah, he hears the words Daniels Iron Man match, and then he's like, what if Daniels' son Iron Man match? We did get Mortimer Plumtree popping up this week. Our influence is unparalleled.
We are truly the most influential podcast.
Yeah, we changed the world. Also, by the way, Director of Authority title came back this week.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up. Another one.
Eric Watt's legacy has been cemented by the return of the Director of Authority title.
This TNA nostalgia push has been great for our business.
So yeah, Styles and Daniels will face off at the pay-per-view in a 30-minute Iron Man match.
Yeah.
Franchise interview Styles. Styles said he survived every kind of match in TNA. He's won all the belts, and he can damn well survive Daniels for 30 minutes.
He never did Full Metal Mayhem.
That's true. But it was only invented this month.
Well, he never did it.
When he said this in the promo, there had yet to be a Full Metal Mayhem match. But he hasn't done Monsters Ball.
Exactly. Did he ever do a Monsters Ball?
He did one of the best, but it was 5 minutes on TV, so it doesn't really count.
Did he go without water and food for a week?
He better have. Otherwise, it's not a Monsters Ball, is it?
Just a no DQ match.
February 4th, Impact, AJ faced Buck Quatermain.
Again.
Could be Lex Lovett. They're the same person. Daniels was also on commentary earlier in the show for the P.D. Williams versus Shark Boy match, which might have been the best. Actually, no, Styles and Daniels was the best TV match. I think P.D. and Shark Boy was the second best TV match this month.
I was watching Petey and Shark Boy, and I was like, Shark Boy should have got an X Division title run.
The crowd are so into him. There's legitimately, if you listen, there's a pop when Shark Boy comes out for this match.
Yeah. They wanted him to beat Petey.
It's the first time we've seen him in a match on Impact since October, so it's been a few months since we've seen him on the show. He was in the Gauntlet match at Victory Road.
When does he lose his memory?
That's 2008. Yeah, we're a while yet.
The best years.
So PD won that match with the Canadian Destroyer. Styles faces Buck Quatermain. Daniels is still on commentary. They do call out that Against All Odds will be the first meeting of Styles and Daniels and TNA. No, it's not. There was one 2 weeks before this.
We're just going to ignore the thing that set this match up.
But they do at least tie in the fact that on the NWA 53rd anniversary show in 2001, Styles and Daniels had a match, which is, like, truthfully, broadly considered the match that put Styles on the map, even though Styles had already done some WCW stuff. That was the match where people were like, oh, AJ's good? And Daniels is like, I put him on the map, I made his career, and now he gets all these opportunities that I don't get, which I think is a nice little through line for this match to add some, like outside of TNA history to make this match more interesting, which I always appreciate.
Well, I know you're not a figure guy. But will you be purchasing the AJ Styles Wildside style action figure?
I will not, for one simple reason. It's not a Wildside style action figure, Liam. It's a WCW Air Paris and Air Styles style action figure.
But isn't it like the same gear?
Well, yeah, but it's the same era. But the packaging says AJ instead of Air, so thumbs down, -5 stars.
That's the thing that they had to do so people would buy it.
Yeah, if it was an Air Styles figure, I'd have bought it. But it's an AJ Styles figure, and I already have some of those.
You don't need any more of those.
I'm already full. I only have one, actually, I think. It's the white gear one from, like, 2009, which is a pretty good one to have. Actually, no, I have the red gear one from the Marvel set as well. I have two.
I have the white and blue TNA one. And I think I have, like, the fluorescent green WWE one somewhere. I can't see it, so I can't confirm.
So Styles hits a Styles Clash on Quatermain while staring down Daniels. AJ challenged Daniels to get in the ring, and Daniels called him a spoiled brat and said he's going to wait until Against All Odds.
True.
So my favorite part of this was before Edith Skipper, Sharkboy, and Chris Sabin were set to have a match, AJ Styles was on commentary. And Daniels came out and he was fucking furious. It's like, that's my thing.
I come out for the X Division matches.
Yeah, he's so upset that Styles is stealing his commentary gimmick.
Which is fair.
Yeah, then Daniels cuts a big promo on him. I love that in the previous show, he guaranteed at least 3 falls because of his 3 finishing moves. He's like, last rights, fall. BME, fall. The other one. Angels Wings,
it's a good
fall.
line.
And yeah, so he's getting in Styles' face here. He cuts a great promo on him. Then he steps up and he just slaps AJ right in the face. And it's such a great slap. Like, phenomenal connection. Great Mike Tenay face. Mike Tenay is like, whoa! He goes from like looking like curiously at Daniels to going like full Mike Tenay shocked face. Great stuff. Don freaking out as well. Good slap, good angle, pull apart brawl to set up their match on the pay-per-view.
They didn't like do a ton to build to this, but the little stuff they did was very well done.
Yeah, and I think Daniels was really, really, really good. And we were talking about this on the watch along about like, well, Daniels never made it as a major TV star in TNA in particular, obviously, where it's the only real TV company he worked with, and it always felt like there was 5 people ahead of him, and somewhat unjustifiably, because when you look at like who is the best all-round performer on this show, Daniels would be in that conversation.
Yeah. As far as consistency,
like, Styles is a better wrestler here, undeniably. But like Daniels, like Styles' promos, absolutely terrible. He's still really, really bad. Whereas Daniels' promos are great, his commentary is great, his wrestling is great. He lifts up everybody around him. He's like Mr. Consistency around here, delivering good promos and good matches. And there's probably like it's an unfair preconception about him that he's not like charismatic, that he's not a good promo. And you watch this and you're like, no, he is. He is, and he has been for a very long time. So that does bring us to Against All Odds for the X Division title in a 30-minute Iron Man match. AJ Styles defeats Christopher Daniels to retain the title 2-1 in overtime. In a match that you thought was worse than the Kevin Nash versus Jeff Jarrett match.
Listen, it was an undeniably good match, but it wasn't Jeff Jarrett, Kevin Nash. Come on.
When they ran down the X Factors, Mike Tenay had a great line. It's not about weight limits, it's about time limits. That's solid wordplay.
Mike Tenay, he's a classic bit guy. He doesn't bring him out, but he loves to do them.
Good lines, wordplay, the land of announcers.
But yeah, this was a fun match. This was like the closest we've gotten to like an AJ Styles or Christopher Daniels ROH performance.
And this is like, I adore watching AJ wrestle at this stage. I really do. And he's in like the blue and black tights here. Great AJ Styles gear. And you just watch him wrestle, and he is at that age where like he is willing to we talked about this last month, but he's at the age where he's just willing to throw himself around for everything. And all of his moves look great, and all of his bumping looks great, and all of his selling looks great. And he's just put it all together. And like, not that he gets worse as he gets older, but obviously he can't bump the same way as he gets older, because obviously he would break and fall apart in many different ways. But just watching him here, just in his pure prime, fulfilling all of the potential everybody knew he had, even going back to that Daniels match, even going back to the WCW matches he had, where you're like, that guy, there's something there. And you watch him at the start of TNA and you're still like, that guy, there's something there. He's better than he was, but he's still not it. And you watch him here and you just watch everything he does, and you're like, oh yeah, he gets it now.
It's all clicking in ring now.
Yeah, and he's not trying to be a heel. Obviously, he still has to do promos and some character stuff, but I think they're smart about how little they have him do that. And he just goes out there and he wrestles, because that's what makes him different. That's what makes him special. And that's what makes this match so good, because you have Daniels who's trying to control the match, and Styles who's like desperately fighting. So Styles makes a mistake because he's the bit more inexperienced guy. He goes for a 450. He eats knees. Daniels falls with the Angel's Wings for the first fall. That's around 15 minutes into the match. And then Daniels tries to stall out, which I always like. It's like, all right, I have my fall. I can stall from here. I can control him with some rest holds. And it's one of the rare instances where it makes rest holds make sense, because like, while you're one up, of course you want to slap a headlock and keep him on the mat.
Yeah, there's good Iron Man psychology in this.
Yeah, so Daniels tries to stall the match out, but Styles comes back with a Pele, then grabs a quick roll up around 24 minutes in. And then Daniels knocks Styles out to the floor and throws Styles into the post, which busts him open. Tremendous blade job, great visual. And then Daniels, as the utter pro that he is, just goes after the cut. Like, immediately once he sees Styles is bleeding, he starts nailing the cut, right, squirting the cut out. And then I love the finish of this match so much, the last 45 seconds, where Styles is bleeding, he's gushing, and Daniels locks him in the Koji clutch.
And it's just pouring all over him.
Yeah, Mike Tenay actively calls out that that's Koji Kanemoto's move that Daniels would have learned while he was in Japan. And it's about 45 seconds left in the match and he locks in this move, and he's just squeezing AJ as the blood squirts out of his head and like drips down onto Daniel's boot and Daniel's leg, and AJ's just clinging on. And they do the timing of it so well that AJ like seems to pass out right as the clock expires. So there's like,
nah, he passed out a second before Christopher Daniels is robbed here. I was livid. I was rooting for Daniels. Daniels had it here. Styles was out. The ref didn't get on the call quick enough. And then once again, it's 1-1. Dusty Rhodes comes out here for his golden boy. Fucking restarts the match. AJ Styles gets an unfair advantage and wins the last fall against Daniels. It's bullshit. Daniels has a legitimate gripe here. He should have won.
It is funny. Like, I was thinking while you were giving this match a horrible rating and saying it's the worst match in the history of wrestling, that I was thinking while we were watching this, that like, it's the most invested you've been in a finish in a while, where you really wanted Daniels to win.
Because it was worked perfectly to that. And once again, Dusty Rhodes just ruining everything.
So yeah, Dusty comes out, he starts overtime. It's sudden death, first fall to a finish. Daniels puts Styles on the top, he's looking for a top rope Frankensteiner. And then Styles just launches him up in the air, where Daniels is like a good 15 feet in the air as he comes down. It's an insane bump. And then Styles hits a ran out of the corner, floats over into a Styles clash. He wins 2-1 in sudden death in the Iron Man match.
I'm just screaming no.
You were so upset. As I said, I was shocked at the rating you gave, because you were invested in the match, which is the reason I was actually kind of surprised that you giving it, like, you gave it 3.75. I think I kind of bullied you into giving it slightly higher than that.
No, like I had the fear of going 4. That's all it was. It was between 3 3/4 and 4.
You landed on 3 3/4. If Daniels had won, it would 4, wouldn't it?
Yeah, probably. It would have been a better finish.
The finish of this match rocked, though. He fucking launched him in the air when he went for that Hurricane Rana.
Yeah, but imagine if Daniels came down and just hit the Angel's Wings out of it.
That would have been insane, and somebody would have died, but in a good way.
And I would have gone 4 1/4.
But yeah, I really liked how this match was worked, how Daniels got the first one on a mistake, then tried to control it, but Styles fired back with his classic out of nowhere move, the Pele, who also passed away in the time between we last recorded episodes. And Don West named the Pele as well. God, that's a weird thing to come together in a couple days, isn't it? Yeah, but even like the way they worked the 10-minute match, I love the end of that match too, where like Styles was going on a big comeback rallying, and Daniels obviously just had to last out the 10 minutes, and Daniels just started doing tumbles to keep AJ away from him.
He did you're just starting your wrestling training and you're going and doing all your rolls to get away from him.
He's just like, if I roll, you can't catch me or pin me, so I'm going to roll. It's like, that's so good. I love this match. I think this match is great, particularly like that last visual of Styles trapped in the Koji clutch as the blood is squirting out of his head. It just makes that moment land so much more. That moment of
that's like one of my favorite endings to. I know it's not like, but you know what I mean. Like, it's one of my favorite ending spots to a match we've seen in the company at this point.
Yeah, it's so perfectly executed. All those sickos who don't like blood are weirdos and monsters who don't understand pro wrestling. And great finish, great match.
Unless you have like a legitimate reason, Nigel will get this. Then you're allowed to not like blood.
Yeah, you have a fair reason. You, Mr. Headbutt up posts over there.
you did your time. You're allowed to not like it anymore.
Yeah, great match. Styles retains the X Division title 2-1 in overtime.